So there are obviously some things that we need to talk about when it comes to the trade deadline, some big moves that happened. Jerry Jones sent out a tweet, or not even a tweet. He did a
No, I
press
watched it.
release.
No, I watched it. It was on Monday Night Countdown last night.
Okay.
Before the game, he was sitting there with announcing the 2027 NHL Stadium Series with the NHL commissioner.
Okay.
He was pretty much like, oh, wait, by the way, while we're announcing this, we're going to make some moves tomorrow on live TV.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, some big moves are coming, so be ready for them. And you know what? The Cowboys kind of went for it, it seems like. Getting Quinnen Williams here, they traded a first-round pick in order to get him, which is something that only it seems like Jerry Jones is willing to do for star players, is trade first-round picks. This is the first time that I can remember in a while that I've seen a Pro Bowl caliber player go for a first-round pick. I feel like NFL teams really struggle to part with these picks. So they turned Micah Parsons basically into Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and another.
I was going to say
Micah
Parsons did that at the start of the year.
Yeah, fair enough. And Quinnen Williams. So I think that this team got better. You know what I mean? Did they get considerably better? Probably not.
Quinnen Williams is an all-pro defensive tackle. And right now, you've turned Micah Parsons into Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams and a first-round pick. You still have one of those Packers first-round picks. And when we were talking about the Cowboys' return, Micah was halfway out the door. He was ready to go. I think they got a pretty decent return for him, at least better than what we thought they were going to get initially.
Agreed. And they also got Logan Wilson from the Bengals. So the Bengals defense continues to get worse and worse, it seems like, for some reason, even though that's the one thing that they need to address and did nothing about. The Jets are cleaning house right now. Sauce Gardner is now an Indianapolis Colt. It seems like they're going. You think so?
For the Colts?
Or for the Colts. Okay, yeah. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Big time on the Colts, but it seems like the Jets are going into, we are rebuilding. We are keeping Aaron Glenn as our guy through the end of the season, but everyone must go mode here so that they can tank for probably the first overall pick next season. I don't know who that's going to be, to be honest with you. College football has kind of not been super, there hasn't been a player that, I mean, it has been fun. There's been a lot of parity, but there hasn't been a player that's like a clear Heisman favorite that you're like, that's the guy they're going for. So there are a lot of questions with that pick, but obviously having the number 1 overall pick when you're 1-7 is something that you're going to want. So it makes sense. But they moved on from Sauce Gardner way quicker than I was expecting them to. I guess they did just re-sign him to a contract extension, and maybe they didn't want to owe him that much money if they were going to be this bad. Their secondary has not been good. He's probably played his best season as a rookie, if I had to guess, just by yards per game wise.
Yeah.
Maybe the change in scenery will help him out. But it does seem like the Cowboys are now committed to Aaron Glenn as their guy because, I mean, you can't trade two key players. You can't trade 2 key players and expect to continue to win games, even though they weren't winning games in the first place. And you will see Glenn at the helm next year, along with whoever they get in the first round. But it feels to me like they were trying to move Breece Hall as well, and they just couldn't find a suitor for him. But this team is trending in the wrong direction, as in tanking, which is not something that we were overly surprised by.
Yeah, I think that the Jets are going with the trust the process route, which I've never quite seen in football to the extent that they're doing it.
Yep.
But you can't get worse than what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not working, you either hold on to these guys and are bad for a long time, or you throw in the towel early and get some return for them. And I think that they're doing the right thing here, to be honest with you. They've got 3 first-round picks. 2 of them are this year, and 1 of them is next year. You hold on to Garrett Wilson. You hold on to Breece Hall. Hopefully you get a quarterback this year with the number 1 overall pick. You will have 3 first-round picks this year.
Who's it going to be?
Well, we just don't know, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you trade one of those picks during draft night and kick the can down the road another year. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, the Jets know what they're doing now.
Right.
They have
a direction. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have this, we're supposed to be this good team. Now they're a bad football team, and that's okay. Because they got good return for those guys. Sauce Gardner has not been as great as he was in his rookie year, and he's had a hard time staying on the field.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking he's going to leave anyways, you might as well get 2 first-round picks for him. And now he can go play on a contending team in the Colts.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think the Jets did the right thing.
I think Indianapolis did the right thing as well in trying to bolster their secondary.
Which is
a lot of
already
teams,
good. Already very good.
I mean, the NFL trade deadline isn't necessarily a place like the NBA trade deadline where 1,000 moves a minute happen. I think 6 trades is like the most all time or something like that. I don't know. Schefter tweeted about that earlier on today. But I think that there are big questions about some of these teams who decided to sit on their hands and do nothing. Is there a team that comes to mind in particular to you that you think probably should have went for a big swing trade and just decided not to?
Yeah, the New England Patriots.
Agreed.
We just cleared house. We got rid of our second-round pick. We got rid of Kyle Duggar. We freed up space to make a move, and we didn't do anything again. We have so much cap space to go throw at somebody. We have so much that we could sign a great player, and they could be a bad contract, and it would be fine. It would not matter because this team is close enough to being a great football team that all they need is one more complimentary piece, and then it's real.
Yeah,
but they didn't do it again.
It felt like
we should be buying. We're on a 6-game heater, and we should be buying pieces to become a legitimate AFC contender. And yet we did nothing, which feels like we're accepting what we're going to be this year, which we're a very good football team right now. You can officially say that.
Yep.
But no one is looking at the Patriots as the team to beat in the AFC.
Agreed.
Regardless of our record being the best. No one is looking at us like that. A big move at the deadline could put a target on our backs as the team to beat in the AFC. And we just didn't do it. So I don't know why. It's still fresh enough where we're upset about it. We don't really have any rationale as to why that didn't happen.
Right.
But in my mind, it should have.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that you heard names about some guys being unhappy. Breece Hall, A.J.
Myles
Brown
Garrett
of the Eagles, Myles Garrett. We decide to make no moves. I mean, you are committing now to this being your roster. Is it good enough to win regular season games? Clearly. Is it good enough to win playoff games? We're not sure yet, right? We haven't been in that position. I think it's unfortunate. Do I necessarily think that we needed to make a big swing move to win a playoff game? I don't think so. But it certainly would have been more fun, especially when you see a few of these guys that some teams were willing to part with. Now, obviously, the Jets wouldn't trade with us because we're division rivals, right? But I don't know. I feel like, you always kind of expect the Patriots to do nothing, so you can't really expect them to do anything. And they kept all their picks for next season. So, if you're looking to add depth next year in the draft, we're in good position to do that. But I'm not overly surprised by the stance that the Patriots took. And I don't think anyone is around the league because the stance of neutrality is kind of one that we've always had.
No, and I agree, but I should know better. But this year I got my hopes up because we've been good.
Yeah.
We have new leadership. I got our hopes up. Maybe they didn't see an offer that they liked. And if that's the case, then so be it. But I was expecting us to do more. Now, a team that I think did a great job that people really aren't talking about because this happened late at night last night. Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher for the Dolphins, went to the Eagles.
Yeah.
As did Jair Alexander, who's old, and I'm going to call him washed for now.
Yeah.
Jalen Phillips is still a premier edge rusher. And to put him alongside that defensive line that the Eagles have right now, that's the kind of move that keeps them in contention for the Super Bowl year after year. It was a great move by the Eagles.
Yeah, it's Howie Roseman's black magic again.
He did black magic. How does he keep doing it?
He keeps doing it. He's the best GM in sports right now. He continually puts them in positions to win. And even though they don't look great in the regular season right now, they're somehow going to be in the Super Bowl again this year.
I mean, they're the number one team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, and they haven't played a single week of convincing football, in my opinion. But
agreed.
That just is what it is. Let's continue to talk about the Patriots, though. You had a little bit of a take earlier on the Instagram about this Pats win over the Falcons. I want to hear you flesh it out more. This is a game that I didn't get to sit down and watch all of. I caught the end of it. To me, it just kind of feels like the Patriots got lucky. Obviously, you missed the extra point to put the that would have tied the game up here. Drake London was dicing this defense up. And it kind of feels like, you think that this is the biggest win the Patriots have got all season. I disagree. I think it's clearly still that Bills win. What did you see out there on Sunday that made you think that this Patriots team is trending in the right direction? Because it kind of feels like we took a step back, in my opinion.
I disagree, because
Okay.
after we beat the Bills, the Falcons beat the Bills the week after.
Yep.
We're the only two teams to have beaten them so far this season.
Yeah, it's true.
So that felt like a big win in itself. You knew that game was going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I said that it was the biggest win in the NFL so far is because after we beat the Bills,
not in the NFL, but
right, I'm sorry, for the Patriots. Yeah, for the Patriots.
Okay.
Was because after we beat the Bills, we have carried this mantra of it's just your schedule.
Yep.
And to this point, we have not proven that to be untrue. We played the Saints, the Titans, and the Browns. Mm-hmm. Those are three of the worst teams in football, if we're going to call it like it is. In order to go from being a team that got a lucky win and then played bad teams to a team that plays good football is by beating another good football team. And it took us a while to have the chance to do that. Now, totally understand what you're saying by we got lucky. And to an extent, we absolutely did. Parker Romo missed a PAT and then got cut. Like, it was that bad of a miss. But we also did the things that we had to in order to win. We could have given the Falcons the ball back with a chance to go and completely drive and win that game.
Mm-hmm.
We also, hypothetically, if the kick went in, we're driving with 2 minutes left at midfield.
Yeah.
And would have had a chance to win anyways. The Patriots made a huge third down conversion to ice the game. That was the biggest play all day. They put up 21 points in the first half, and although Drake May did struggle in the second half, he came out and took accountability. That's not my best football. I got to play better. But we still ended up with a win over a proven qualified team who has looked good all season with all of their players. That is why it was the biggest win, because now we have officially gone from a team that had a lucky win and had a string of bad opponents to a team that beats good teams and kills bad ones. And that is what great football teams are. And now I think the Patriots have cemented themselves as a top 5 team in the AFC.
Yeah, I think that they have a really big test this upcoming week, right? We're going to talk about the Patriots-Bucs game later on today. But that is one that I have circled on my schedule because it seems like those two teams in particular have not necessarily elevated themselves from the pack when it comes to their own divisions, their own leagues. The Bucs are like kind of a gatekeeper in the NFC, a team that you're not necessarily expecting to contend for a Super Bowl because of the way that they've played so far, but they're still pretty damn good. And I kind of see them on a very similar level as the Patriots right now. Now, the winner of this game may elevate themselves to that upper echelon of, okay, that team is a contender in the NFL right now. But there's a lot of questions going into this week, so I guess we'll see with that game in particular. Do you think the Falcons regret cutting Younghoe Koo? regret cutting Younghoe Koo?
I don't know. I can't really speak on that. Probably if he was such a good kicker, he would have been picked up by someone else at this point, right? So, do they regret it? Probably not, to be honest with you. I agree with your take about the Bucs. They feel like a very similar team to the Patriots for all the reasons that you mentioned, and I think going into this game, we have it circled as our game of the week. Is there bias there? Absolutely, but
100%.
The key to the Patriots winning is Christian Gonzalez being healthy, because the Bucs have Ibuka back. They're coming off a bye week.
Yep.
They have officially Bucky Irving back. The Patriots still have not allowed a 100-yard rusher yet this season. Can they be the first against the Patriots? We don't know, but we will find out this week. I think that your defensive pieces being healthy is a huge part of this game, and you hope that they can get back to it. But I would not say that I think the Patriots are going to get steamrolled in this game. I think the Bucs are 3.5-point favorites. I think we're going on the road. That feels fair to me. And even if the Patriots lose this game, if it's a close game, you can still say that they're a great football team.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. I think a lot of questions will be answered this upcoming week, though. I think that
absolutely,
this is a big
and I'm
test for
excited
the
to see
Patriots.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the same way. Let's move on here. The Bengals continue to play super entertaining football despite the fact that they're awful. Every single game that they're going to have with Joe Flacco, we've been saying it since they traded for him, is must-watch football. You have to watch him play football with this team. He is just airing the ball out to anyone that will listen. T. Higgins was his target of choice in this game against the Bears last week. Let's talk about two of the most cursed franchises on planet Earth, by the way. The Bengals and the Bears going up against each other. Yeah. Neither team wanted to win this game. I watched the end of it, and at that point, 40 points had been scored by both teams. And I watched the Bengals score a touchdown, then get the onside kickback, then score another touchdown, and then immediately give up a 40-yard receiving touchdown to Colston Loveland on the other side to win the game. Like, what an entertaining day of football. These two teams need to address defense so badly.
And the Bengals did the opposite.
Yeah. They traded a defensive player.
They traded Logan Wilson.
I think a question that comes to mind when you talk about the Bengals in particular is, A, why is this defense so bad? And B, how do you fix it? And I think the answer to that is you have to get rid of one of these 4 contracts that you have. Unfortunately, all of your cap space is going towards 4 players. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. And despite the fact 2 of them aren't on the field right now, Jamar and T can put up 40 points a game, but this defense can't stop anyone. They could not stop a parked car. And it seems like the players on the offense are through with it. The way that Chase Brown was discussing in the post-game interviews of just finish the effing game is what he said, about his defense.
Jamar Chase walking off the field said just one effing stop.
Yeah. I mean, literally all they needed to do was stop Caleb Williams from getting a touchdown. They had to score a touchdown, right? With 54 seconds left on the clock, and it took them 3 plays, which is ridiculous. It's also the Bears, by the way, a team that does not want to win football games. They want to lose in the most heartbreaking fashion. They want to lose because you guys got an onside kick. I texted my girlfriend who's a Bears fan, and she was like, this is the most Bears ending to a football game of all time. And that was before the Bears scored the touchdown. You know what I mean? So maybe Ben Johnson's flipping the script. But the Bengals in particular, this team is so fun to watch. And the problem is that they're going to be so fun to watch for the next season until they have to trade a piece because this defense just cannot continue to be this bad.
I don't know where you go. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, I don't know what you do.
I'm sick of talking about it.
Yep.
The Bengals are fun to watch. They're fun to have on your fantasy team. The game's probably going to be close every week, but the defense just can't do anything. This team's not going to be able to win any games, especially in a division as tough as the one that they're in right now.
Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards. He's 40 years old. He threw for 470 yards and 4 touchdowns. That should win you a football game.
You can't ask for anything more.
That should win you a football game.
Absolutely. But look, these receivers have to just be so unhappy. And to be honest with you, it speaks to how much they love Joe Burrow.